Right guys, well welcome back to MK Sportscars. I've just landed, just rocked up in good old faithful. We've got a car in the back. Let's go and have a look. Let's see what's in there. So today we've been out, we offer a delivery and collection services. We don't mind doing that. This guy is a local customer. What we got in the back? Strapped in here because it is raining. We've got a, well, it's a low-cost base chassis, Haynes-based low-cost chassis. Manufactured at home, which I used to do, and this one has got an MX5 engine in it. So we're going to get this one unloaded and into the workshop, and if you subscribe, you'll see next week what we're going to be doing with it. Right guys, it's workshop time. Let's get stuck in straight away actually. Do you remember this car last week? Some of you got it actually right, well done, big thumbs up. Yeah, it's the TS Dominator. We've been on talking about what we was going to be doing with this car. One of them was changing from paddles to a gear shift. Well, the one thing I will say about these cars, and Joseph unfortunately has learnt, they are very difficult to work on, as in trying to get into the cockpit, lots of bars, lots of things hindering you working on them. Like the 7s are so easy to work on, trying to work in this environment and under here. So what we've got here, we've got the original paddle shift that's there. That has been disconnected at the other end. We're just going to remove that section there. And now we've been on with, Joseph's done an absolute awesome job here of making a gear shift system. So what we've done, we've taken what we normally do, which is a bearing system on an axle down here. This is on bearings, roller bearings, so you can grease them up as well. This is on, you've got a nice smooth and short gear change on here. Comes through here, we've got to make this panel back in here in the section, and there's a rod linkage here that goes from there and then back to the engine. So you have got down is down and up is up on this particular one, which is the right orientation, because I don't like it the other way, but some people do, so it's the correct orientation. But yeah, it was a bit fiddly trying to get in here, trying to make panels. We've had to move all the water pump system because that was all hindering it in the way here. Joseph's had to make new connecting pipes here. Everything was in the way, unfortunately, and now we've made the mechanism. It's got a bracing rose joint here as well, so this bar smooths and pivots on rose joints, really smooth. It's got a nice feel to it, so I think it's going to transform the way the car drives for the customer. So that's number one. We've just got a couple of little other jobs to do. I think it's a speedo we've got to look at and everything else, but yeah, top job. It's like British touring car style, that is, isn't it? Look at that, bang on with the steering wheel. That is absolutely spot on the money, that is. So Joseph, tick the box nicely on that. We'll get the seats bolted in, back panel one. Jobs are good. Send it back to the customer. Right, from the Dominator to the Black Panther, all these names are kicking about. Well, we're on with this car, and what are we doing now? Well, we're doing IVA checklists. Going through this, going through the car now, final preparation details on it really. Everything else is pretty much done, just got to do the emissions bit on it. Putting the final bits of the bulkhead back on, so it's clean. It's completely blacked out, this car, as we called it the Black Panther. All the interiors are all nicely finished now, boot cover, boot box, all the IVA bits are on the vehicle as well. So yeah, we're just doing a bit of a checklist now, all running and out. We're just getting the emissions to be the next job really to finish off. They always need mapping. We get the cat exhaust put onto it and everything else. We've just got the standard sort of decat system on it at the moment to mock it up, because that's what we use on track days generally on them, and that'll be done. So in the next week or two, this will be off to IVA. So a bit like the K20 was the other week. We can't see any particular issues. That'll be the reason behind it. We do it quite often. So yeah, Black Panther getting ready for its IVA debut. Right, here we go, RX5 time, so Mazda engine car, as you know, hashtag Barker. I've been working on this one, the guys have. Going to be doing a couple of bits in here. We've got the header tank on, brake fluid reservoir put on, bulkhead panels in, battery and battery mounts in now. The front end's pretty much buttoned up now, all the way to IVA spec with the indicator extensions, headlights, grills, all that's gone in. It's all been bonded in now, the mesh, etc. as well. When you're moving into the interior, the guys have done the seats. They've gone in now, the seat runners, the harnesses, and the padded centre tunnel top, which looks, well, it's much more cosy, and B, just looks much more refined in there. Steering wheel's gone on, and the big shiny thing, which is the exhaust, that's also been fitting in now. And we decided on this one, we're going to make a new laser cut thing for the hole to this, to clean the hole up. So anybody with RX5s that are going in it, we're going to make a nice little surround for this one. So we're just doing some templates while we've got this car in sample form. We're going to make a nice little black surround there as well. So yeah, it's cracking on. Even got a wheel on it. That's one wheel. There is four to go on, of course, but one wheel on now. We've just finished up final mock up on it as well. Again, this shouldn't be far away now from, it all starts, runs and goes, but once we get the header tank done in, we'll be able to get the coolant system all bled up as well. So we've gone with the alley one. They look much nicer, much shiny things, shiny things. So yeah, RX-5, cracking on. Right, here we are, guys. We haven't done anything for a little while on this. We've been waiting for some parts, M&R time. Well, the engine's gone in pretty much for the final time now. So this is a customer supplied engine, fully forged, reconditioned engine. We've now got rid of the old 5-speed gearbox. We've now got a 6-speed gearbox, which is in. We made the bracket for it. We modified all the prop shaft, made the prop shaft for this particular vehicle because the one that was supplied with it, if you subscribed, you would remember, it was a Ford one. So we made the Mazda one to fit it. Everything else, that's all gone in. Now we're setting up with clutch lines gone in. So we've checked the operation of the clutch. It's always good. Get the engine in, make sure you're happy with the clutch. We've bled it all up ready, and we know that when we press the clutch here, we've got an engaging clutch, just in case there was any faults with it. That's all gone in. We've tidied up the engine, tidied up the alternator. That's all gone in the engine. That's gone. And now Ben's on with, well, he's on with the scuttle, modifying that because the steering column's gone in. That's all we trimmed and cut and modified to fit. It doesn't just bolt in, unfortunately. There's quite a bit of modification required and trimming to do that. We've put a temporary seat in here so that we can make sure we were okay with the steering column heights and alignment for where the driver will sit, because there's adjustability in this, as you can see. Because you get one shot on these, one shot, because the dashboard is incorporated into the scuttle. So you get one shot. So the hole's been drilled in that. You have to make sure it's in the right position. You can't reposition or buy a new dashboard. You have to buy the whole thing otherwise. So that's check, measure twice, 3 times before you drill, sort of thing. So that's been gone on. Handbrake cables have gone in, and then he's been mocking up on the nose cone as well. So lots of little jobs now as well to do to mock up to get this. We're going to be doing a water pump delete kit. So we've got the back housing off here. We've got a machined up part which is here somewhere. These parts basically we're going to use in the back housing. We put this back in, we use the back housing on here and come off for that for the pipe work as well for the water pump delete. So yeah, she's progressing. We're trimming all and modifying the bodywork which we've got down here, and then we do the final fit bolting of the engine mounts once we settle the turbo in position. So yeah, progress. Right, here we go, Indy Classic Fireblade car. You may remember this came in the other week. We was doing a couple of bits for the customer because he wanted to get it in the dyno. He ran on the dyno, it's had a little bit of clutch slip, so he wants us to investigate that. Now he's getting some clutch slip, now he's been on the dyno. Didn't really experience too much on the road, but sometimes when you're under full load you start getting things and you find these problems. Also, he wants to move away from this air shift system that was on here, which has got an air shift paddle shift system. It's a homemade affair. It's not that reliable in changing gear. I think it's got some homemade air pump system with a tiny little canister in it, and it works, but sometimes it keeps missing 2nd to 3rd gear. So what we're going to do is do all the way of that. Customer wants that gone. He wants to go basically a stick shift, like we've done on the Dominator that was there. A stick shift in the middle. You know, it's reliable, it works up and down, etc. Because it hasn't really got flat shifter or nothing on this. It'll be reliable, so we're going to put that on there. And the next job is to meet some of the noise requirements because he wants to do some track days. You'll see this exhaust that's on here. It's pretty tiny. It's just like a bike can that's on there. And we're going to mount one of our systems that we've got here, one of our 6-inch silencers. They're generally pretty quiet as well, so that'll help him. Mount that down on there on the system, and we'll keep that, so if he ever wants to bolt that back on, he'll be able to do that. You know, it's a bit noisy, it's all right on the roads, but if you're going anywhere near a track, that's definitely not going to pass. So it looks cool, but it's a bit noisy. So that's the other job we've got to do on this particular car, and then just do a couple of other little minor tweaks and tidies. Unfortunately, this car was mint, but that weather out there with the snow, rain, sleet and ice, even trading it there, they do get a little bit dirty, so we'll have to chuck a bucket of water over it for him as well. So yeah, that's the Fireblade car. Can't wait to get cracking. Right, and the final car I'm going to show you today is the classic R1 Turbo, as it says on the side of the car there. So we've been on with this car, doing some bits, getting it ready. It's got to get up to MOT standard as well. It also had brake issues, which was the brake master cylinder, which I think we showed last week, didn't we? I'm sure we did. Completely corroded, completely rotted out. So we put a new brake master cylinder in there, had to make some brake pipes because it's slightly different. It was a very early one that you cannot get anymore. Could have sent it off to be reconditioned, but the price of that and the time would take forever, so we've got a different one on, which is the same Sierra one, but they did a few different outlet changes left and right. That's down in there. It's very hard for you guys to see, but it's tucked down in there. That's all been fitted. Same as the second thing, which was the Sata, which is tucked right down in there, which you can't see, which was an absolute, to get out. That's all I see. Poor old Adrian persevered with it. The flywheel was seized on it with the Sata. It took a bit of a specialist tool to get it off, which shouldn't normally do. But that's all working now, that's all running. It's been on with tidying us and securing all of this in engine bay. So new set of plugs in it. Brake system's been bled through now. And it does run, I do believe. I've been informed, whether it will or not. That noise is an oil scavenge pump, actually. It scavenges from the turbo because it hasn't got a drain back from the turbo into the sump because the way it's mounted. So it's got a scavenge pump that feeds it back into the oil filler cap, actually. Unique way of doing it. It's different. It works though. So see if she runs, shall we? Fire in the hole. Woohoo! There you go. She's running. So that's a good start. You can hear the turbo whistling actually. A little bit of whistle on the turbo. It's spooling up there. She's still running. You can hear that still running. So yeah, that's running. Next job is now checking all the brakes on the rear, getting it up to MOT spec. A few other little bits that the customer wants doing, but the main thing is we've got to check the cooling system, because it looks like it's had a header tank, not much fluid in it, so we've got to do that. It's had a different radiator on fitted on there, we've got to check that out as well. So we'll bleed the systems down and get it all running and back, dropped onto the ground, into MOT and hopefully back to the customer. So that's the plan, fingers crossed. She's going to be out of here within the next week. Right, more chassis have landed. One here that's not in powder coat. We've got 2 or 3 over there that have landed that have gone powder coated, etc. But if you're on the chassis register, you're going to be up on, I think it's this side, isn't it, Elliot? This side? No! Which side? That side or that side? It's up there anyway for you, so you can see where you are on the queue. Let's talk about this one. So this one here, you're wondering why it's in a bare chassis, etc. Well, this one, it's a bit custom. We're going to be doing something a bit different. It's had a short footwell. It's got a top mounted pedal box on it. It's a bit away from the norm that we're doing, because it's with one of our team here that we're building it. It's going to have a K20 in it. This is the engine that's here. So we've got a K20 here. It's going to be mounted to a BMW gearbox. There's some trick bits on it, and once that K20 is bolted in down there, there's going to be a whopping great turbo stuck next to it here. So the aim for this car is going to do some modifications now, get it all set in. The engine's been dry fitted and everything in here, and we'll show you the progress on this. But it's going to have a big old turbo stuck on it as well. So, you know, we're going to be aiming for big numbers, north of 400 probably, somewhere around there, if not more. We'll see what she turns out. But yeah, looking forward to seeing this K20 turbo come to life. Here we go, guys. Before I let you go, new product that we launched is a new billet, MK billet upright here. Well, what we're using these primarily on the cup cars at the moment, the Sport 200s, but any of the Ford-based kits that we're doing really. Nice bit of kit, really is. Axle's been changed, left hand and right hand threaded. We've got a drop link in here for bump steer. We've got, this is universal, so you can bolt it either side. So this either side for the left hand and right hand side, so they're not handed in any way, shape or form, which is quite cool. And we've got a different brake bracket, so eventually we will be able to change these if we do go to a bigger or smaller, bigger brake setups. But at the moment it's designed for the 265 10mm disc, so it's spot on. It's also designed for a rose joint on the top, and I've been asked how much it weighs. Well, do you know what? I've got a set of scales here. I'm going to stick it on there. As it weighs now is exactly 2 kilos, so she's pretty light compared to some of the aftermarket or stuff that's out there in the place, or if you're using the donor stuff. She's pretty light. So this is a left-handed thread one that we use on the near side, as you want to call it. So yeah, they're available now on our website, so you can hook them up. And if you want any questions, pick up the phone, give us a call here, and we're happy to talk you through the process. Well, that's it for another super busy workshop here at MK Sportscars. Can't wait, and don't forget, April 1st for our open day. You can come down and see what we've got going on here. That's it, guys. Like, share. The likes, the big thumbs up button down there. Press that for us, and we'll catch you next week.